Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday, May 2nd. Hope you're all doing well. We're about 4 minutes away from start time. So if you're just tuning in at the moment, hang in for about 4 minutes. You can even start this morning by rounding up the couple of things we typically do breathwork with. So a pillow for underneath your knees and a blanket for over your body as you get going with the breath work this morning. You can round up those couple of things at the moment, find a nice comfortable space for you this morning, and we'll get going in just a little bit. Once again, for those of you just joining, we'll get going with our breathwork in a couple of minutes. In the meantime, you can find a blanket for over your body as we get into the breathwork, and also a pillow for underneath your knees if that's the way that you prefer to breathe. And we'll get started in just a few minutes. Okay, we're about a minute out. Today's breathwork is going to be a good one, I think. We're not going to use music until about halfway through, which, of course, if you've seen some of the live streams lately, we haven't used music at all because of my technical inabilities, I guess. But actually, I believe I've got that squared away this morning, and you should be able to hear some music, especially now. If not, that is totally fine too. But I believe I have the settings correctly this time. All right, so it is 6:15 Central, 7:15 Eastern time. So we'll get going this morning. I hope everybody's doing well. It is Monday, May 2nd. Later on this week on Sunday, 6 days from now, is Mother's Day. So I just wanted to throw a big shout out to all the mothers that may be joining. Thank you so much for everything you've done in all of our lives. My mother, happy Mother's Day, Tracy in Ohio. Thank you for everything that you've done for me. So I hope everybody has a good week leading up to Mother's Day. Welcome to another session of Monday morning breathwork. Thanks for being here, everybody. A quick introduction for those of you that don't know me or know me that well. I'm Anthony LaRubio. I'm the founder of Recal. I am a breathwork coach, a certified Wim Hof method instructor, and an oxygen advantage instructor in training, another modality of breathwork. Just a little note. I had a cool opportunity last week to be featured. Okay, no problem, Jordan. Thanks for the heads up. Appreciate that. I'll throw the chat overlay in here for 1 second. I just got a message from Jordan that said no music. That's totally fine. I think we'll get that figured out later. I had the cool opportunity this past week actually to be a part of a podcast. It was with a wonderful man named Dan Voss. It was on his A New Way of Living podcast. So shout out to Dan. I will include a link to the podcast in case you're interested here in the comments. I just sent that up. So you can check that out if you're interested. We get into some what I think is interesting stuff. Definitely some breath work right out of the gate. We actually did a quick breath work exercise that's useful when maybe transitioning between meetings, kind of to reset your focus and energy, especially in today's world of going from meeting to meeting with just a click of a button. Breath work can be a nice little tool for those moments. So check that out. We also get into quite a few different things and why maybe unleashing the human inside of you is holding you back from being able to get out of the burnout rut that you might be in, and how nature can be helpful for your mental health. So take a look at that if you're interested. I sent the YouTube link. It's also, of course, available on Apple Podcasts and Spotify and other things. All right, just a few housekeeping items before we get going. If you'd like to receive these sessions in an email or any other breathwork training information from me, feel free to drop your email either here in the chat window or send me a direct message is totally fine as well. We do this breathwork lying down, and I also recommend having a blanket nearby where you can put over your body. And lastly, I always suggest having a pillow underneath your knees. A lot of times that helps to create the natural alignment between your pelvis and your hips and your diaphragm for breathing. And so that's sometimes really helpful also. The plan for this morning's class, we're going to do a little bit of a hybrid type of class this morning. We'll get into it with a little bit of a warm up, and then we'll do one round of breathing to tempo. So I'll count us off. We'll do an in 4, out 4 tempo, and then we'll double time it to an in 2, out 2, and then we'll even go for just an in, out type of tempo. That'll get us going with the breath. We'll go into a hold after that. And then after we're done with that hold, we'll go into 2 rounds of Wim Hof style deep breathing. So just a quick note again for everybody, anybody who might be a little bit newer to our breath work, all of our breathing that we'll do on a full, what's called a 3-part breath in pranayama. This is called dirga. So we like to fill up from the depth of our belly and then go into our chest and then let it go. So you can actually do one just to warm up with me if you haven't done this before. Into the belly, into the chest, and let it go. You can do through your nose or your mouth. So once again, that is the type of breathing that we'll be doing. Type of motion, at least for the breath. Okay. Lastly, a couple of warnings. As with any of the deep breathing exercises that we do, typically on Monday morning breath work, if you are pregnant or epileptic, we do not advise you doing this. I can work with you on something else that might be more appropriate. And also, this type of breath work brings all the tingles and the sensations sometimes in our hands and our feet and our face, and even some lightheadedness. That's all possible. If you do reach those points, that's okay. You can either breathe on through those, or if you want to just take a little step backward, you can control how fast and how deep you're breathing, and you can slow it down if that's what you feel comfortable doing. So I always throw out those couple of warnings for our breath work. So without further ado, we'll get going. So hopefully by now you've found a space for you to get comfortable, enough space for you to lie down. We'll begin by just going in on a 4 count and out on a 6 count. So that's in, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In, 2, 3, 4. Out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In, keep going at your own count. Out, in on a 4 count, out on a 6 count. Follow your own breath here. Getting yourself settled in. Let's set an intention this morning. It's a Monday. April's over. It's into May. Who do you want to be today, this week, this month ahead? Let's center ourselves around that intention this morning. Keep going with the breath, focusing on the breath as it comes in and it goes out. Now I invite you to take, wherever you are, take a deep breath all the way in. Fill up the lungs and let that go. Let's do another deep breath all the way in. Sip a little more. Fill up the lungs and let that go. One more deep breath all the way in. Sip as much as you can in. And now on this exhale, we'll let it go and we'll also squeeze the air all the way out. In 3, 2, 1, let that go. Now squeeze the air out. Don't leave any air in your lungs. And now breathe back in. And this time, I'd like you to raise your hands above your head. If you're lying down, that's okay. Stretch all the way up. And now take a deep breath. And now, as if you're climbing a rope, climb it with your hands, one hand ahead of another, as if you're climbing the rope. Climb that rope with your hands, putting one hand up higher than the other, up higher. And in 3, 2, 1, let that air go out of your lungs. You can bring your hands back down to your sides. Just gave ourselves a little stretch in the ribs area, which will help with our breathing. And we can get into the breath work this morning. So again, we'll be going in on a 4 count, out on a 4 count to begin this morning. So wherever you are, I'd like you to begin in, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4. 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 In, out. In, out. In, out. In, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4. In, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4. In, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4. In, keep going, out. In, out. In, out. In, 2, 3, 4, out, and we'll double time it. Into, out, 2, into, out, 2, into, out, 2, into, out, 2, in, out, through your nose or your mouth. In, out, into, out, 2, into, out, 2, into, out, 2, into, out, 2. And we'll double time it in 3, 2, 1. In, out, 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 in, out. A few more breaths here. Keep going. Keep going. And in 3, 2, 1, take a deep breath all the way in. And let that go. And now one more all the way in. And let that go. And we come into our first hold this morning. Holding the breath. Let's tell our body this morning, I'm okay. And as you say that, scan your body from your toes up to your head, knowing that you're okay. And maybe you can relax just a bit more. You're doing great. And now, even if you can hold for longer, in 3, 2, 1, take a deep breath all the way in. Fill up those lungs. And we hold for just a bit longer. And in 3, 2, 1, let that go. Good. Take a moment. Scan your body. Understand how your body's feeling. Clear your mind again. And from here, we're going to do 2 more rounds of breathing, this time in a Wim Hof style, so I won't be providing the tempo. You'll just take a deep breath into the belly and into the chest, as deep as you can, through your nose or your mouth. And we'll go ahead and begin that now. Deep breaths, sending the air to the depths of our lungs and then into our chest, and then we let it go. At your own pace, breathing this morning, filling up the lungs with each breath, and let it go. Feel the air coming in and going out. Pull the air in with intention, letting it go out with relaxation. Keep going. Pull the air in deep and then let it go. Just a few more breaths here this morning for this first round of Wim Hof. Keep going. Make each breath count. And now, wherever you are, I invite you to take a deep breath all the way in and let that go. One more all the way in and let it go softly. And now we hold. Coming into our second breath hold this morning. Let's relax our mind and relax our body. Find a bit of peace and quiet this morning. If any thoughts emerge, acknowledge that thought, but you can let it float right on by. Coming back to the stillness in your body. Maybe you can feel your heartbeat. See if you can slow that down. Okay. In 3, 2, 1, take a deep breath all the way in. Filling up those lungs. Give yourself just a little squeeze in your legs and your pelvis. Just a little squeeze. And in 3, 2, 1, let that air go. And now we're going to go right in to our next round of breathing. Breathing deep into our belly and into our chest and let it go. Pull the air in and let it go. Breathing in deeply with intention and letting it go with relaxation at your own pace. Here we go. Feel the breath coming in and going out. Keep going. You're doing great. If you have any sensations emerging for you, tingling in the hands, lightheadedness in the head, muscle tightness in the face, breathe through those. You've got this. Just a few more breaths here. Keep going. And now I invite you, wherever you are, to take another breath all the way in and let it go. One last breath all the way in. Fill up those lungs and let it go. And we come into our last breath hold this morning. Creating the space and time for you to ease your mind. Relax your body. Relax your mind. Relax your legs. Relax your back. Relax your shoulders. Just let this moment be. And now, even if you can hold your breath for longer, I invite you to take a breath in 3, 2, 1. Fill up those lungs as much as you can here. Fill them up. If your ears are ringing, that's okay. Give yourself a little squeeze. And in 3, 2, 1, let that go. And now just let the breath catch you in a normal breathing pace. One of the challenges of modern life is the amount of noise and information that we're always processing. We're taking time this morning to clear our mind of that, letting any thoughts go and finding some peace and quiet in our mind. Let's keep doing that. Okay. Now, wherever you are, let's start to bring some awareness back to the space around us, bringing awareness to our limbs, our feet, our legs, our hands, waking up the body again this morning. Maybe give your fingers a bit of a wiggle, or your toes, wiggle those out. Maybe roll your hips side to side. Take a deep breath in and sigh that out. Maybe put your hands up above your head in a big stretch and take a deep breath in. And then put a smile on your face and sigh that breath out through the teeth of your smile, bringing your hands down across your body. Give yourself a little hug, a little squeeze, showing some self-love and gratitude for giving yourself some time this morning for this breathwork practice. You can roll to one side, start to sit up again at your own pace, coming back. And maybe think back to that intention that you set at the beginning of the session. Let's use that today. Let's bring that to life. Today, Monday, for the duration of the week ahead. Thank you all for joining. Again, I'm Anthony. I'm so appreciative that you're here and we're building this Monday morning breathwork crew. Thank you for letting me share my practice with you. We did something new again this morning. So thank you for entertaining that and being there with me as we do it. Thanks a lot, Jordan. Appreciate it. Absolutely. Thanks for coming. And I'll see you soon. For everybody else out there as well, love and gratitude sending your way. Have a great Monday. Bye.